This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to me addressing this for the final time, hopefully. Uh, hopefully. So, I've put out two videos, real quick videos of me in my car, just kind of real quick talking about this, and then I went over Rachel's most recent video during my live last night, today being November the 4th, and what I want to do today is just kind of try to get everything in some kind of order, get it up on the channel, and maybe hopefully not address it again. Or if I do, just kind of do like a dark anthropology deep dive on it. I know there are some other channels that have a much deeper dive that they're going to do, one of which being Charlie Gold's channel, but that's also because Charlie Gold has like all the screenshots. So I would expect a deeper dive on that one in general. That being said, I do kind of want to go over this here just to have it documented and to put my thoughts and everything in one place, if that makes sense. And I also, some of you have asked me about Jawbone and some of you have asked me about Hectacana, and I do want to address both of those in this stream. So let's try to get that. I'm going to try not to ramble. So thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to our members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. Yes, it is still hat season. So here we are. All right. What I want to do here. All right. I'm going to try to do this as linearly as possible. Try being the operative word. So, where I want to start. All the way back about 4 weeks ago, again, today being November, 4 weeks-ish ago, Rachel put out this video exposing Amberlynn Reid's lies with new receipts. And in this video, this 2.5 hour long video, Rachel lays out basically like, I want to say like a 48-hour period of time through text messages, screenshots of text messages between Emily and Amberlynn. And Emily, if you don't know, is also named Tommy, or Amber calls her Tommy. And Tommy, aka Emily, is Amberlynn's feeder ex-girlfriend. And we know she is because Emily has said as much. Now, Emily has a bit of a reputation for, well, being a feeder and be enjoying the more extreme end of that particular adult fun time. So these Rachel starts putting out these videos with these screenshots from Emily depicting arguments between Emily and Amber through text messages. And I mean, it's Gorlworld, it's the Amberverse, people are eating it up. It was fascinating to see the conversation evolve. And I believe it was the day, I want to say the day and a half leading up to, again, Rarity's disappearance. Rarity being Amber's cat that went missing in Wisconsin when Amber went to go visit Emily near the holiday season. I'm trying to catch people up without going too detailed here. And I mean, R.I.P. Rarity. So, and we will never know what happened to Rarity. We will never actually know what happened to Rarity. So there's that, which is truly unfortunate, which is also why no one likes Amber and no one should like Emily. Anyway, going forward. So Rachel starts putting these videos out, and Rachel is very clear in her first video that she is receiving these screenshots from Emily and that she worked with Emily to get these quote unquote receipts, right? So that was not a surprise with anyone. So moving forward from that point, Rachel continues to put out these videos where she's revealing more receipts from Emily about Amber. Amber starts losing her damn mind because that's what Amber does. Amber is, during this point, Amber is not putting out videos like she normally does, vlogs. She's just doing lives. She's in one of her live stream periods. And because of that, Amber is, of course, going online. She's crashing out. She's having emotional meltdowns. She's saying things She's basically accusing people of stuff, including Emily, and those have all been deleted now. And it was a time, all right. It was a moment in time. It was a moment in time, and as you can see, Rachel continues to make content revolving around the Emily receipts, Amber's responses to them, the community's responses to both of those things. And in all honesty, it's a good move for a channel to do that, especially when you've lit that fire. And during that point, I was incredibly skeptical of Emily and Emily's motives behind this and why Emily was doing it and that stuff, because I don't like Emily. I never really have. But I was not overly critical of Rachel or Rachel's videos or the format or the presentation of Rachel's videos. And I still can't really truly be critical of them, because as far as like presentation and, you know, format and organization, like that is, they're still pretty solid. I mean, they're still solid videos as far as that's concerned. It is the creator and of course Emily that are now being drawn into question. All right, that is kind of the point of this. So about 2 weeks ago, this exposing Amberlynn Reid again, this video comes out, and this video starts a little bit of a snowball effect. In this video, there is a voice message that Emily has sent Rachel. And if I'm skipping a few steps, that's because I don't personally think they're particularly crucial to where we're trying to go here. So there are a lot of things that are occurring. And in this video, there's that voice message that Emily has sent Rachel. She is describing the night of Rarity's disappearance. And the voice message is the important part, because later, after this video goes live, now this video premieres, and Rachel premieres this video to the tune of like 198K views, which is phenomenal for a video, right? This video does gangbusters. And as you can see, as of today, it has 210K views, and it's 2 weeks old. It's still a hell of a video, right? This is good work. You can see that all of these videos that have to do with the receipts, they have good views, right? Which is good. But when this video premiered, the one that says more proof in the thumbnail, there was a huge showing from Gorlworld. A lot of the creators, a lot of reaction channels were in the chat at the time. A good chunk, I would say most of the population of the Amberverse was in the chat. I mean, it was a big deal. It was a lot of fun, actually. It was fun chit-chatting with people, joking around with people. You know, it was fun. It was a fun time. It was a good video. It was well put together. It was interesting hearing some things. I started reacting specifically to that video because there were some things in it that I heard that I was like, I would like to address certain things about it. And I had intended to react to that entire video and to start a reaction series to Emily's screenshots at the time. I will not be finishing that series anymore, and it will become apparent why here in a second. But 2 days after that video went live, Rachel makes a post about... Now, this post from 2 weeks ago has been edited since its original format. This says, "Hi all, Emily has withdrawn consent for her voice to be used on my channel. To avoid any future issues or privacy concerns, I have privated my previous video. Many thanks for the continued support of my channel." So this video, the exposing Amberlynn Reid again, this video went down while I was reacting to it. And there were questions, but this post pretty much clarified it. I mean, Rachel pulled it down because Emily revoked consent for her voice to be used. And again, I think that was, at the time, I had said, well, that's very nice of Rachel to have done. I don't think she necessarily had to do it, but I don't think she would have violated TOS if she had left the video up. However, it was nice of Rachel to do it. Keep in mind at this point, I've been being supportive of Rachel going during this point, and I need you guys to understand that, all right? I have not been supportive of Emily. This is important for me. I want you to understand these things. So we go forward from here from the more proof video. Obviously, some other videos have gotten posted, and we get an event on Amber's page. And that is Amberlynn makes a post. Does she still have that post up? Let me go double check. So Amber puts this post up, again, roughly about 2 weeks ago, as of today. I need to address something that has become a topic of conversation online. Ambers. As you might have seen, there has been a lot of discourse between myself and Emily in which feelings were hurt and emotions controlled. I think Amber's discussing... It doesn't matter what Amber's discussing. I want to clarify an important point that I think may have been lost among the chaos. Emily, to my knowledge or belief, has never intentionally caused someone's health to decline, nor has she ever intentionally caused someone to die. I do not believe that she would ever want to cause someone's health to decline or to die. I've never actually read this out loud. She has always shown care regarding my health and been a very caring person in that way. Any statement to the opposite effect does not align with what I believe about Emily at all. She has never deserved the kind of hate or accusations that have been happening in the last year and a half. Lastly, I want to remind my audience and the Reaction Channel audience that while the drama is entertaining to you, there are real people with real lives behind it. Please do not make this worse for anyone involved. To do so is harmful, not helpful. These past few days have been extremely painful for both of us, and I need everyone to know that I will be continuing to take some time to pause, reflect, and focus on moving forward in a healthier way. Thank you to everyone who has shown kindness and understanding during this time. Right. And, of course, comments. A quote, if you do not call me, I'm going to ruin your life. Amberlynn Reid, February 21st, 2025. That's a quote from one of the videos. So, someone says, what in the damage control is going on? This is why no one will ever trust you, what I'm going to say. Who cares if I gaslight my audience? Quote. So, yeah, girl, you claimed she liked you in mobile. Amber removed... 5, 6? I'm just trying to remember. I can't tell you right off the top of my head, but I feel like it was like 5 or 6 lives from her channel, which is incredibly unusual for Amber. Amber does not remove videos. Amber has videos removed, but it is very rare for Amber to take a video down from her channel. Like, incredibly weird. So for this to happen, and then for her to put up a message of any variety explaining why she did it, and this is kind of what this is incredibly bizarre behavior for Amber, right? So, of course, the entire community went, what? And then, of course, from this point forward, everyone's like, oh, well, the two of them are back together. Well, this triggers something over here on this channel with Rachel. And Rachel then puts out a new statement on her channel about 12 days ago. So roughly about 12 days ago, Rachel puts out this statement. It has not been edited. It says, hey guys, I'm exposing my own F up for transparency. And this is my inability to read, by the way. Some people can actually write. Ooh, these are dirty. I can do this without these. Hey guys, I'm exposing my own F up below for transparency. Obviously, there was a fair bit of context which I left out of my last post after I privated my video with Emily's voice note. Basically, Emily gave me the voice note, screenshots, and a clip, which I ended up not using. It was not the range of the video, and I had consent to use them with no strings attached prior to this. Emily had told me some pretty damning information about Amber owing her lots of money for the trip they took, where Emily drove Amber home from Wisconsin, home to Oklahoma, where Amber lives. I wanted the receipts for this pretty bad, but I didn't think it was something Emily would be super keen on sharing, so I very stupidly offered Emily that if she was willing to give me these receipts, I would split the AdSense on that separate / finance related video with her. Later, once the voice note video, the one that got taken down, was well underway, meaning that the video had already been released and was doing well, the voice note video instead, well underway, Emily asked if we could just split the AdSense from the voice note video instead of the finance one, as she felt it made no difference. I again stupidly said yes, thinking, well, we were going to split the finance video anyway, so it really makes no difference if we just split this one instead. It is essential to note that Emily had already given me consent to use the voice note prior to this rearrangement of which video would be split. She also never sent the finance receipts she had mentioned. She did not let me use the voice note because of any money. She had already said yes to this, and then the arrangement was, quote, transferred. Then I became very suspicious that Emily and Amber were talking again. Amber deleted their lives, posted that statement, and it was clear that Emily and Amber were not done with each other. I thought, despite her crappy character, that receipts coming from Emily were still valuable, I can read, and showing these did not mean I was defending her. However, it became clear to me that my good intentions were being taken for granted, that Emily did not just want to provide receipts, but in fact, she viewed my videos as payback to Amber for their own personal dramas. I was not comfortable being used as a pawn in their wider game. I therefore decided that there was no way on this earth I was going to pay this person to make me look like a mug. I told her as much, told her I would happily donate this portion to charity instead, so that I would not benefit from the decision. She got very angry, suddenly blamed my video for her being harassed. Despite having been okay with it prior, she did not want the money to go to charity. She wanted to be paid. She tried to make it sound like she had not given me consent to use the voice note already. She had, and I can prove it. And she gave me an ultimatum to pay her or take the video down. I wasn't paying her, so I took the video down. It is now back up, which it is. I acknowledged that I was absolute effing idiot for offering her money under any circumstance, and that it was also wrong to do so, and then changed my mind afterwards. At the same time, there was absolutely no way that I could, in good faith to my audience, allow a single penny of the AdSense money from your viewership to go to Emily when it was clear that she was enjoying these weird mind games between herself and Amber, and viewed videos made by me as punishment to Amber. This was icky to me. I wanted receipts, that was all. I was mad about Amber still owing Beck being Amber's, one of Amber's longtime partners, who is actually going through some serious health issues right now. Still owing Beck the inheritance money, and I wanted everyone to know that Amber had financially screwed over another ex. And therefore, I made an offer I shouldn't have made and realized that it was a mistake too late. I understand if people are mad at me for this. The portion offered to Emily will instead go to charity on or around November 26th. That's because that's when we get paid from YouTube. I will post the donation receipt here. Emily's response to this situation proved that my intuition was right about... I just lost it. My intuition was right. Her intention was never to get her story out as a DV victim, and I was wearing some serious rose-colored glasses in pursuit of the receipts. Sorry for being a twat. Sorry, I like that word. I did get some interesting receipts, though. Please see this Venmo below, where Amber was blocked on all platforms, so sent Emily $1 because she wanted her to answer the phone at 1 a.m. I don't actually care about that, and it's also irrelevant. So here we go. This is where we were before I went off on my weekend. Gorlworld needs to learn to behave. Anyway, I have decided that... See, I spent most of October celebrating my birthday, so I was gone while Gorlworld decided to implode internally. And instead of looking at it as a glass half empty kind of a situation, I'm looking at it as a glass half full. I'm deciding that this was Gorlworld giving me a birthday present of, look at all the stuff you get to talk about in November. So that's how I'm going to take this. Anyhow, that being said, So this all happened right before I went on not vacation. This is what happened right before I went out for the weekend. I don't know why I keep saying vacation. I was only literally gone for like less than 48 hours. So this happened 2 weeks ago, roughly. So then we find out about a Discord. There's nothing wrong with Discords. There's nothing wrong with people having private Discords. There's nothing wrong with people being in Discords with their friends, okay? I don't care about any of that. I literally don't. I'm in Discords. They're not my Discords because I don't want to be in charge of them anymore. But we find out about a Discord that Rachel is in with other people, including Hectacana, Jawbone, and somebody named Dell. I don't know who this Dell person is. But we know who Jawbone and Hectacana are. All right. These screenshots that were taken were then sent to Charlie Gold, and Charlie shared these screenshots on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. I'm sorry. And they're kind of disappointing. All right. Give me a second. I'll pull those up. All right, we're not going to go over every single screenshot. And I know that Charlie says in her Twitter that she's got dozens of these, and these are just a handful. But I am on Twitter right now, and this is Charlie Gold's. As you can see, this is Charlie Gold's Twitter. Anyway, Rachel says, Rachel's talking about, Emily at this point. She says she sent me a video of her smoking. I'm not going to read everything here. But you see Jawbone's responding. I feel like she's dipping her toe into calling. Importantly, we see Rachel says, I flirted a little. I'm not going to lie. I wanted the tea. And she says about the flirting, it got a little uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big old flirt. And she took the bait. But that's how I got the tea. And, Jawbone types in, I'm not as concerned about Jawbone or Hectacana responding to Emily. It's Emily's... Wow, okay. I'm not as concerned about Jawbone or Hectacana's responses to Rachel. I think I was calling her Emily. I apologize. What I'm concerned about is what Rachel says and Rachel's tone. And here's my other statement about this. Discords are not private. I don't know who needs to hear that. So, we also see here, again, this is another statement that comes out, that people have asked me about Jawbone about. Jawbone says, generally considering reaching out to Emily, that kind of money would change my life, with a laughing face. Rachel says, I feel like if people knew, they would be a lot more understanding. I don't understand the statement after that. And then Rachel goes on to say they will anyway when they see the donation. That video made 3.6K so far, so I will be forced to out myself. Ha, talking about how much money she was going to have to donate. And then she says, Jawbone says, by the way, I'm not saying you were riding Emily's clit, Rachel. I'm just taking the piss out of what Amber said. And Rachel says, I simp for money, literally. Did people think I was going to get the best tea in Gorlworld for months and not have to get a little bit muddy? This is called touching the poo. And, I mean, if you want to touch the poo, that's fine, but poo is sticky. And that's part of the problem. And then we go on to a conversation between Rachel and Hectacana. Hectacana asks, so are you going to give the money to Beck? The comments were pretty overwhelmingly in favor of that. Now, this is after Rachel has come out and told her audience about what has happened with her approaching Emily. I can do this. About paying Emily and then choosing not to pay Emily, which I have opinions on that too. And the audience, the comments under that message, since Rachel brought it up, the comments under that, people were very overwhelmingly about give the money to Beck. Beck is going through some pretty serious health issues right now and is essentially broke. And as of today, I believe they've lost their job because they've missed so much work because of their going and getting surgeries constantly because of their freaking health conditions. Anyway, America. Anyhow, so after Hectacana asks Rachel if she's going to give the money to Beck, Rachel says, I don't think so, to be honest. Feels wrong. I can't explain why, but I can see how it's a huge FU to both of them. She's talking Amber and Emily. So I can see the appeal. I might do a poll and then blame it on that. I don't know, but the poll would be Beck. So I've got time to think on it. If I do charity, I can write it off on my taxes. Then someone jumps in and says, I think that's best, to be honest. Rachel says it feels cleaner. Another person steps in and says, I don't understand why people even suggested it until I reread the statement a second time. But both from an accountant's and a moral POV, I think a charity with a registered charity number is best. Rachel says, IDKY, yeah, I learned this way also, but there is something satisfying and petty about giving it to Beck. I'll think about it. And then Jawbone says, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but Jawbone says, not suggesting you watch it as it is pointless, but Jordy has said that you offering to pay in exchange for tea is not a big deal and isn't sure what the fuss is about. So that should clear up the air for you fair play to him. And Rachel says, love that from Jordy. And then Jawbone says, so you're not really being publicly hanged and drawn and quartered, Diva, rest easy. And Rachel says, if Jordy says it's all right, then I'm off the hook, tee-hee. And then says, I'll wipe my tears with banknotes. All right, here's the problem here. Okay, here's some of the problems here. First off, wipe my tears with banknotes was a shitty thing to say, period, end of discussion. It just was. It was tactless. It was heartless. It's a shitty thing to say. I don't think Jawbone necessarily has said anything here that is particularly anything. Honestly, I don't personally see anything wrong here. I really don't. Going backwards, Rachel talking about giving the money to charity, to a registered charity versus giving it to Beck. I don't know how things work in the UK, to be perfectly honest with you guys, as far as donations. If Rachel hadn't come out and said shit like, I'll wipe my tears with banknotes, I could have maybe talked myself out of this one, but again, because I really honestly don't know how charity works in the UK. Things work differently in different countries. And to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure how that shit works here in the States. But she's the one that brought it up about giving the money to Beck. So she kind of opened that can of worms herself. And, you know, honestly... you kind of screwed yourself here because you made a deal with the devil to pay the devil half. You kind of have to pay the devil, which means the half that you're not paying the devil, you now have to give to Beck because you fucked yourself here. I'm sorry. That's how this is unfortunately working out for you. On your highest grossing video that you've ever made, you just screwed yourself. All right. Now it's her money. Rachel can do whatever the fuck she wants with it. None of us can go force her to do squat, right? But this isn't a good look. It really isn't a good look. It doesn't look good. It looks callous. It looks heartless. It looks skeevy. It just looks bad. And it sounds worse, all right? This part here, I know people had a little bit of problems with Jawbone saying reaching out to Emily because that kind of money would change my life. I don't have an issue with that. I really don't. It's just Jawbone being honest. I really don't. We'll go over a statement that Jawbone posts on his channel later I'm not defending Jawbone. I'm really not. I'm just being real. But in this here, Rachel's saying, I simp for money, literally. I think that's a joke, but again, it comes off bad. It's in poor taste. It looks gross. And then, did people think I was going to get the best tea in Gorlworld for months without having to get a bit muddy about it? Was it worth it? We were all wondering what was going on and why. I mean, I even more than once in my videos was like, why is Emily giving Rachel this much information? Because Emily had given Snowflake some of those screenshots, of the same screenshots that Emily was giving Rachel. And it was only a handful. It was nowhere near the number that Emily was giving Rachel. So I was like, why is Emily giving Rachel just days worth of screenshots when Emily only gave Snowflake like a handful? What was the difference? And well, now we know, because Rachel was flirting, Rachel was offering money, Rachel was getting muddy, Rachel was leading Emily on. I hate in any way, shape, or form defending Emily, or even sounding like I might potentially be defending Emily, because I don't like Emily. But unfortunately, that's the situation I'm being forced into here, and I don't like it, which makes me dislike it even more. Which brings us back to I'm a big old flirt, and she took the bait. But that's how I got the tea. So these are important to look at right now. We're doing good on time. All right. So these were important to look at. Don't get me wrong. Charlie has mentioned more than once that she's going to come out with a longer form video or a live. I believe it's supposed to come out tonight, being November the 5th or 4th. So you will not see that, or that will have come out before you see this video probably. But anyway, if for some strange reason you haven't watched that, go watch that. Probably. It will probably have more information. All right. All right. So all of that comes out, and Gorlworld goes nuts over it for the last 2 days. Today's Tuesday. So for, I don't know what day those exactly dropped, but I was gone Saturday and Sunday, and I spent most of Monday getting caught up. It's still going on today. So the last 3, if not 4 days, this has been going on. No, I haven't fixed my camera. I'm sorry. Amber, I hate defending these people. Amber smells blood in the water, goes off. And she's not wrong. All right? She is wrong about certain things, don't get me wrong. Like, we get smug ass Lynn. All right? We get, let's see, what do we get here? We get haters will say this is a filter with this stupid fucking, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but this is what we get. I guess we think we're cute. We get live, laugh, lipedema with that stupid face. I can't even do it. We get Queen Lynn. We get Queen Lynn. Thanks, Rachel. This is you, by the way. Thanks. Appreciate this. We get It's Giving Obsessed. And most recently, we get Pathetic. Now, mostly Amber's just smug because it comes out that Rachel's been flirting with Emily, and basically the credibility of this information has been tarnished, and in general Rachel's credibility has been damaged, and that's effectively what has happened. And all of these things, these little things that Amber has been accusing Rachel and Emily of, they're kind of coming to light, and Amber is accurate in some of her accusations, which makes Amber believe that she is accurate in all of her accusations, which makes her insufferable. Which also makes her say dumb shit. Don't get me wrong.
Can you read us a diary entry? No, because people think that a diary means nothing. But yet you read the diary of Anne Frank. Like, I don't get it. Diaries mean something. Journals mean something. Just because I'm Amberlynn does not mean anything. Like, journals are everything to some people. And you know how many, like, biographies there are out there? That's kind of like a fucking, autobiography. That's kind of like a fucking journal. Shit. A diary is a diary. You sit down and you write it. Whether it happened in the 1900s or it happened in 2025. Ain't no way you just said that. I did say that. I did say that. Anne Frank went through way worse than I did, but she had that shit written down. She had that shit written down.
Don't get me wrong. But she also has this high horse to stand on now where she can point fingers at the fact that reactors are paying her exes for information and they are manipulating her exes for information, and her exes are indeed going behind her back to ruin her life by going directly to reaction companies, yes, reaction channels, in order to sell them information about her. Like, she now has these accurate things to stand on, and it's because she now has that to stand on. It's true, right? So this is not worked out well for a lot of people, and in general it is not a good look for reaction channels in general, right? And it really doesn't look good for Rachel, because Rachel is the genesis of all of this, right? We also get Amber in her classic, girl, you don't know what I know about you. I know all kinds of things about you. No, you don't, Amber. Shut up. Stop that. You don't know shit. If it doesn't occur inside of your apartment, you don't know what's going on. Stop it. Please. There's smug and there's stupid, and you're crossing the line. Anyway, I just needed to get that out of my system. So, all right. How are we doing? All right, we're doing. My hair's almost dry, too. All right. So we've got Amber being Amber. We're not going to delve too deeply into these. Back to Rachel's videos. So, 22 hours ago, not even a day ago now, Rachel puts out exposing everything with screenshots. This was not a good look. This was not a good idea. This should probably get taken down. But it's a little late now because I'm pretty sure it's been immortalized on the internet by, well, at least 3 reaction channels that I can think of, myself being one of them. I went into this last night thinking everybody deserves a chance to defend themselves. And I was fully expecting this to be a video where Rachel lays out her arguments and puts out her evidence and truly shows us what the hell was going on, how these screenshots were taken out of context. Here's what really was going on, and steps up, takes accountability, and walks back certain things that didn't come out right. That's what I was truly expecting. These are hurting my ears now. And if you watch my live last night, that is exactly how I started it. All right. And I did not have, my chat was not on board with me when I said that. Okay. Because my chat knew better. And as we continued to watch this video, and as we continued to watch the various segments, and as I continued to listen to Rachel and see the evidence that Rachel was providing and the explanations that Rachel was giving throughout this video, it got worse. And I started off disappointed, as I said in my 2 videos, and I was not. I didn't change my opinion by the end of it. So if you want to go watch that, feel free. Obviously, It's a live from last night. I'll link it in the description down below. I'll try to put like a tag or something around here somewhere. But I'm not going to rehash it. We're not going to rewatch it here. I've already done it once. I'm not doing it again. I wasn't happy with it. It gave me heartburn. I'm already drinking coffee. I don't want to give heartburn again. So here we are. But as we stand right now, it's not a good look. It's not being received well. People are not happy with it. It is not achieving what I think Rachel was trying to achieve. Unless Rachel really was trying to piss everyone off, then it has definitely achieved that. I don't think it's brought anyone onto her side. And I think it has definitely alienated more people than it already had. In the hour it took me on my channel to watch it last night, she lost over 1,000 subscribers in that hour. So it's not working. And yeah, it's not working. So I don't have anything else to say about that I didn't say last night, and I really don't want to go into it and rehash it. I think I've made my personal stance on this fairly clear in other videos, but for those of you who don't want to go rewatch those, I'm just going to say my head is adorable because I need to distract myself. But also, I am personally not happy with this situation. I was a huge supporter of Rachel's channel. I promoted Rachel's channel. I promoted Rachel. I personally, as I said in my car videos, I was excited when Rachel started doing these videos and started becoming a reaction channel, because Rachel and I come from similar backgrounds where we both have an academic background where we have degrees that are on the surface absurd to be applying to the world, to Gorlworld. I mean, she's got a philosophy degree. I've got an anthropology degree. Why wouldn't think to apply those to something like Gorlworld until you really start getting into the nitty gritty of it? And I was really excited to see that kind of thing happen. Just because, like, it's fun. All right. It's fun. It's fun to take something that people think is such a hoity-toity topic and like apply it to something that people think is ridiculous, like Gorlworld, and then to point out that no, you really can talk about things like anthropology and philosophy, and you really can do that using something like Gorlworld, and you really can have a higher level conversation using something like Gorlworld to have that conversation. Like, yeah, we can sit here and we can talk about Amber and talk about how ridiculous she is, or even talk about glitter and lasers and how ridiculous she is. But in doing so, we can also talk about, you know, higher concepts about society and social groups and hierarchies and material culture and all of that kind of stuff, right? We can do that. And it makes it accessible to people who wouldn't necessarily even want to have those conversations in the first place, right? So I was excited about that, right? And I felt like that's kind of what was going on, because I remember Rachel made a really cool video about, is Amber a good person by Amber's own definition of what a good person was? And she brought in, you know, the concepts of Socrates and, you know, Socrates' concept of what is good. How do you define good? And like talking about all of that. And I was like, man, this is awesome. You know, you barely talk about this in a normal situation in the first place, let alone in the context of Gorlworld. But it's a fabulous topic to talk about. You know, when was the last time you talked about Socrates? Period. You know, and so I was just excited about that. And I really was. And so, where was I going with this? I'm rambling now. Bring it in. So personally, I was happy and excited to see a channel like Rachel's take off. I was excited to see a channel like Rachel's be embraced like it was. I was happy to see people really flocking towards Rachel's channel. I was excited when she hit 65K. It was amazing to me because people don't tend to embrace higher academic themed channels that quickly. I was like, cool, this is cool. And then this. And then instead of being like, okay, I fucked up, maybe not do that, this is the double down. And then, like I said in the car, in my car thoughts video, this is the third time. This is the third fuck up in like, I don't know, less than a year. My channel is only 2 years old. Rachel's channel is younger than mine. This is the third time she's fucked up in this short amount of time. The first F up being her posting the video about, again, Emily's DV story when she got the anonymous, somebody anonymously shared with her Instagram DMs between Anonymous and Emily talking about Emily's DV story. And Rachel made a video about it without contacting Emily first and asking if she could do it. The audience was not pleased and they told her as much. And so she ended up donating the proceeds from that video to a DV shelter and taking the video down. The second time being not telling us about this, paying Emily for the story. And I mean, I think a lot of people probably would have let that go. I mean, they would have not been pleased, but they probably would have let it go. But this thing with the Discord, the language in the Discord, the callousness of the Discord, and then this weird doubling down shit and this video exposing everything with screenshots. This isn't good. And this isn't a good look. And I'm not happy about it. And I'd already unsubscribed before this video came out. If I hadn't, I would have unsubscribed at this point. But I was already unsubscribed by this point anyway. As I said in my car videos, I think, and I said this last night too, I think it is possible for people and reaction channels to learn and to grow and to develop and to come back. I think it is possible. I think it depends on the creator. I think it depends on the reactor, how they internalize this shit, how they choose to grow and learn. Because I've seen it happen. I've not always been a reaction channel. I've been part of Gorlworld for a while as a viewer. I have seen other reaction channels go through struggles and come back stronger and better. So I know it can happen. I have hope that might be what happens with Rachel's channel, because I would like for that to happen. So I'm going to stay optimistic about it. But currently, I feel like currently I need to step back, if that makes sense to everybody. I feel like currently I need to not be supportive of this right now. I think if you get what I'm trying to say here, this is not something I can support right now, which is a shame because she just started going after glitter and lasers. Anyway, so that's that. I did say I was going to talk about Hectacana and Jawbone real fast, and we're going to do that. I want to talk about Hectacana real fast, real first. I want to talk about Hectacana first. I don't really know how to start this one, because I don't want to spend a shit ton of time on it either. Hectacana, I was never, I think I might have been subscribed for a little while to Hectacana, honestly, but not for a very long time. And at the time that I unsubscribed, it wasn't anything personal. I just went through and unsubscribed from a bunch of things because I was noticing that I wasn't getting notifications for channels that I really, really wanted notifications for, aka Kicking Geese. So I thought maybe if I unsubscribed to a bunch of stuff, I would start getting my notifications again. So I had unsubscribed to a bunch of stuff that I wasn't interacting with very regularly, and Hectacana was one of those channels. And again, it wasn't anything personal at the time. And then not too long after that, this thing with the DoorDash driver happened. And I didn't watch either versions of these. What I did end up watching was Charlie Gold's version of this. Let me see if I can pull that up real fast. This is Charlie Gold's videos. Social media drafts are an option. Amberlynn and more. She put this out 6 days ago, October the 29th, or it was available on the 29th. It went out for members earlier. So this is how I interacted with this from Hectacana. This video, for those of you who don't know, Hectacana put a video out. He was apparently trying to branch out content-wise. I fully understand wanting to do that. Just go look at my channel. And apparently Hectacana put a video out around the 27th of October talking about this DoorDash driver on TikTok who apparently put a video out showing a delivery that she did. And there was a leave at the door order that she dropped off, and the door was open, and the man inside was passed out on his couch with his willy hanging out. And she recorded that and put it up on TikTok. And that is me very much simplifying what happened. That is an incredibly simplified version of what's happening. So do not pass judgment based on my story, because that is an incredibly simplified version of what happened, and you will be passing judgment on the wrong thing. So Charlie put that up, put up Hectacana's reaction to it, and his original reaction to it. That is also important. And Hectacana's take on it, in my opinion, as someone who dashes, that wasn't great. Wasn't great. Wasn't a good take. Didn't come out well. Was probably maybe not the best thing to put out on the internet. Just throwing it out there. Maybe that was one that you should have just kind of like passed on. Just a hard pass. Wasn't going to come out well one way or the other. Just really wasn't. Picked any other topic. Like any other topic would have been a good topic. Charlie then goes on to put up a video from, I believe it's iNabber. Yeah. Charlie then goes on to put up a video from iNabber, who, as per my understanding, is a much larger channel. I've heard of iNabber. Look, I'm old, okay? And I'm clearly not that informed. iNabber is kind of known for his more researched and nuanced videos. iNabber did a deeper dive into this exact incident with the DoorDash driver and the whole thing. Apparently it occurred in the state of New York, maybe even the city. I don't remember all the details. But I will link Charlie Gold's video down below if you are interested to go watch. And iNabber kind of points out the misinformation and the kind of character assassination that's going on against this particular driver because of what had occurred. And I have seen people in my own comment section mentioning these things, and I can tell that there are people who have some very strong opinions about what the young woman did. And it's clear that people have strong opinions about this. And I'm sure some of you are going to, in my comment section, have strong opinions about this. Hectacana's take on it was not good. Again, maybe just not do that topic. Any other topic probably would have been better. I am a dasher. I have had some very inappropriate things happen while I dash. It's always men. Do I give that much of a shit? I don't, but it takes a lot to rattle me these days, but I'm also a lot older. I am much older than this woman was. So that's the benefit of age. So there's that. That's all I really got to say about that. Hectacana's take on it, really, honestly, the fact that he decided to, like I said, I haven't watched the second version of it. he should have just taken the damn thing down and just apologized, or just taken it down and been like, well, people didn't like that video, and moved on, instead of trying to do whatever the hell he's trying to do here. Because I was looking at the comment section of it, people still weren't pleased with it. So I would have just taken it down and kept it down. I just would have left it off and just moved on with life. He clearly has continued to move on. He's got a video up from 3 days ago, and he has also put a video up from 10 days ago addressing Rachel's original comments about paying Emily for information about Amber. So, you know, he's clearly still moving forward with his channel, with his content, and that's fine. That's his channel. It's his decision to do. I am not currently subscribed to him, and I explained why I'm not currently subscribed to him, and I probably won't resubscribe, and that's not a personal against Hectacana thing, to be honest with you. I just really did pare down a lot of the people I'm subscribed to, and I just don't feel the need to subscribe to anyone else right now. The channels I'm subscribed to are the channels I watch and I interact with, and it is what it is. Channels, videos and stuff do get recommended to me because YouTube's an algorithm more than it's anything else at this point. If something came through that of his that looked particularly interesting to me, I might click on it. I'm a reaction channel. I have to stay informed somehow. I know somebody in one of the other channels used a clip from my video. And then people were like, oh my God, I can't believe she'd still watch it even if it was recommended to her. Yeah, I would, because I need to stay informed. I'm sorry that offends you. So there you go. But that's kind of my statement on Hectacana. I think this was a really bad take. I think this was a bad take. I wouldn't have done it. It didn't look good. I don't think I would have doubled down. Definitely wouldn't have doubled down. But there you go. So that's my take on Hectacana. Jawbone. All right, Jawbone. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't actually watch Jawbone's videos, but I do read Jawbone's posts. He's funny. Of the 3 people involved in these comments, in the screenshots, Jawbone was the one I had like the least problems with, to be honest with you guys. I don't really know what to tell you there. As you can see, I am subscribed. I didn't even realize I was subscribed until I looked at this, to be perfectly frank with you. I've literally never watched one. Okay, no, that's not true. I think I've watched at least 2 of his videos because he got recommended to me a long time ago. YouTube was doing this thing where, and they're still doing it, where they're over promoting smaller channels, which is fine. I like having small channels promoted to me. I really do. Because a lot of the smaller channels are actually really cool. And around the time that I was getting Hectacana promoted to me, I was getting Jawbone promoted to me, and I think he was funny. I must have thought he was funny, or else I wouldn't have subscribed. So there you go. But I will tell you, have I watched any of these videos? What? Okay, look, I watched this one. I watched a video of his from 2 months ago. But his posts crack my shit up. All right. And this one here, it is a bit of a novel, but I do kind of want to read it to you guys. So, Jawbone says, I'm not going to sit here and apologize for things I said in private messages with people I consider to be friends. So if you're here to see me doing that, then you should know early on that that's not going to happen. I am posting this just to clarify a couple things, so this will probably be a long post. It is. It is. All right. In this message, in the message that have been shared, I was shown poking fun at Rachel for, quote, fancying Emily, which was clearly, and I thought pretty obviously, a joke. I I took it that way. Anyone who thinks I genuinely fancy Emily, or that Rachel genuinely does, needs to have their heads a wobble. Needs to give their heads a wobble. I'm American. Okay, look. Y'all need to speak English. Anyway, I don't think Jawbone fancies Emily. I don't think Rachel does either. I think that's fairly clear. I think Rachel's intentions towards Emily were fairly clear, and I don't think Rachel was in love with Emily at all. I really don't. He goes on to say, I also said somewhere that I was considering reaching out to Emily for that kind of money Rachel was making. £3,500 for one video. Yes, I would. I'd still do that today if she wanted to. If you wouldn't have a conversation with a knobhead for a few grand a pop, then you are extremely privileged, and I envy you for that. I kind of wanted to address that a little bit. There have been a lot of people talking about the money thing and how Rachel's ruining her reputation for a few $1,000s. Rachel has a job. Rachel has a real job. Rachel has a job outside of YouTube. So the idea that she is throwing her career away for a few $1,000s, that's not what's happening to my knowledge, because Rachel has on more than one occasion talked about her actual job. So I know she's employed outside of YouTube. And I do kind of want to point out that 35 grand is kind of a lot. And if you don't think it is, I kind of have to agree with him. I don't know anybody who couldn't use $3,000 right now. Am I going to go talk to Emily for $3 grand? No, because I don't like Emily. But I don't know, man. If Emily walked up to me with $3 grand in her hand and was like, hey, want to make a video? I don't know. That's $3,000. But anyway, Jordy. I also want to clarify that in my mentioning of Jordy, I was directly responding to Rachel earlier in the chat asking if he was laying into her in his live stream. I very rarely miss a Jordy live stream, and I told her that he wasn't really that bothered and that he wasn't publicly executing her on his live stream. I didn't just bring Jordy up as some arbiter of ethical justice out of nowhere. Okay, first off, yeah. Jordy's the one that has had all kinds of interesting people on his live stream, and I have criticized Jordy for that. So, as for my comment about Jordy being blooded in, that's clearly a joke as well. Blooding in is when a new gang member is initiated, and I was referencing Jordy's famously aloof social media presence. He got looped in on what some other members of the Discord wanted to share with him, and then dipped immediately. To me, it was a classic Jordy move, and I thought it was hilarious. I'm a regular Jordy viewer and often hang in his chat and send in super chats, so I am in no way or form a Jordy hater. I've been critical of Jordy before in the past, so, I didn't really take that. I actually thought it was kind of a funny statement, to be perfectly honest. I didn't have any idea what the hell it meant. I clearly took it to be they had invited Jordy into the Discord. Jordy had come in and went, nope. And that's how I took it, which is apparently exactly how it was meant. Jordy came in, had a look around, and then left. And that's how I took it. That's apparently how it was meant. The idea of Jordy being some kind of judge of ethics is laughable. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Jordy can be pretty fucking funny, but Jordy's the one that had Valentine and Valentine's wife on his channel. Jordy's the one that's brought in Aunt Tammy. So, Jawbone goes on to say, with regards to the money aspects of Rachel's recent drama, none of us in the Discord found out that Emily had been offering money until long after it had already happened between them. Many of us expressed disappointment and made sure to note to Rachel that we didn't think she ever should have offered money at all, and especially not when Emily tried to alter the terms of that agreement later. But even though we disagreed with Rachel's decision, we also wanted to help her find a path to the right outcome, because when a friend makes a mistake or does something dumb, you try to help them fix it. You don't abandon them and preserve yourself, at least not where I'm from. Ultimately, Rachel landed on the decision to donate to Beck, partially because it was suggested in the comments of her community post, where thousands of people liked and commented that it would be the ultimate slap in the face to Amber. You can still go and check the community post today on Rachel's channel to see that this is the exact rhetoric shown in those comments. The notion of this donation being a win over Amber did not come from Rachel initially. It came from her comments section and became part of the thought process afterwards. I personally had some reservations about donating straight to Beck, mainly because I thought it would be good to check with Beck first and ask them how they would feel about receiving money obtained from another victim of Amber's story. It's possible Beck wouldn't even be comfortable receiving that money anyway, and to me, it was worth taking into consideration. I agree that some things Rachel said were crass and came across perhaps cocky, but to me, it felt a bit more tongue-in-cheek than arrogant at the time. Maybe I was wrong about that, but that's up to Rachel to clarify, which she did. And for anyone asking, I also wipe my tears with banknotes. I don't make enough. And for anyone thinking, I also, quote, wipe my tears with banknotes. I don't make enough money for that. I tried wiping my tears with pennies, but it's just not the same. Sorry. You see, Rachel did clarify that she was being cocky and she was being crass, so unfortunately, that is unfortunate that Rachel did clarify that she was being, I believe in her words, a twat. So there we are. So you were wrong. You were wrong, sir. As far as Beck not being comfortable receiving the money, I can understand why people might think that Beck might have reservations about that, but considering Beck's situation right now, I don't think Beck would turn down money right now. Beck's terrified right now. Beck has no idea where money is going to come from to pay for their procedures that will literally save their life. So I don't see why that's a question in anybody's mind as to whether Beck would take money or not towards their surgeries and their procedures. So I feel, as much as I do laugh at this comment or this post here, I do feel like that's a bit of a cop-out statement. And him saying that and Rachel both saying something similar, it's a cop-out statement. Like, I don't know if Beck would even want the money. Of course Beck would want the money. Beck's in a hard way right now. Like, there's some questions of if we will have Beck much longer. Beck would probably take the money. Let's not pretend like we're a bunch of idiots over here. All right. And let's also quit using Beck as some kind of fucking human shield or some kind of like morality cross over here to keep vampires away from us. All right. It's gross and I don't appreciate it. So, and quit teasing people with this idea. Oh, am I gonna give back money? Am I gonna give back money? Ooh, am I gonna give back $1? Just fucking give the money or don't, and quit bringing it up if you're not gonna do it. I know that's not necessarily Jawbone's thing. Jawbone isn't the one saying, "Oh, I'm gonna give back money," but it's getting a little tiresome. Poo. Finally, I want to talk about the whole idea of touching the poo. As a notion, this is a good rule. However, it is regularly broken by many creators in this community. Salty Crab with Valentine's reveal video, that is true. Snowflake, Jordy, Karina, and I'm sure many others have all interacted directly with people in Amber's current life or past life and offered them a platform to address the audience. This is very true. Even the ankle, whose voice, for the record, I love, has reached out directly to Emily to buy the BPD Rage video. Aunt Tammy herself is currently a mod in Jordy's live stream and regularly pops up to share tea with the chat. So it seems that the issue is not so much touching the poo, it's about who you are and how deep you're willing to go into the poo. I've got nothing to say to that one. The truth is that I talk shit about anything and everything I have an opinion on within Gorlworld and beyond. I now post videos publicly about Amberlynn and Chantel because I feel they deserve to be criticized publicly for their past and present. My other gripes and jokes and criticisms of other people are kept to what I thought were private chats and always expressed as my own opinion. That doesn't mean to say I wouldn't stand by my criticisms publicly, because I would. I just don't feel it's necessary to call people out publicly for every relatively minor issue I have with their content. I am a viewer first and foremost, and I am allowed to have criticisms of the content I watch. True. It's okay to not like someone's... It is okay not to like some creators. Also true. It's okay for other creators to not like me. Yeah. This attitude that a person is not allowed to criticize another person regardless of their public standing as a reactor or a viewer or whatever is so strange, especially in a community where criticism and drama is kind of the point. Touché. It's kind of the reason I wanted to read this, by the way. I've been in Gorlworld a long time, almost a decade at this point, as mainly a viewer. Deciding to make content now initially to make my friends and some of you laugh doesn't make me somehow more important than the average viewer. I was lucky to be included in a small group of people who later became friends and peers, but truly none of us reaction channels are that important in the grand scheme of it all, especially as a small channel with barely any footprint in the space. No one should care what I think about anything so long as I'm not saying anything bigoted. I mean, the bigoted part, that's not what I'm having to think about. Obviously, let's not do that. I make videos about poop ladies and farting and fupas and the various absurdities of Gorlworld. I am not and will never be some monument to nuance and morality. No, that's my job. And I have never claimed to be. That's my job. I am simply a I am simply a Welsh dickhead doing dickhead things, and I truly don't take myself that seriously. Love, Jawbone. I mean, he has a point. So, about the poop ladies and farting and fupas. The final part here, I think, is the part that I really wanted to have the most discussion about. It's Gorlworld. We're talking about lol cows. And I think the greater discussion that's been had recently is one of my mods who I adore has been saying this a lot, which is, and I think she might have picked it up from another chat somewhere, which is the lol cows are the reactors we met along the way. And it's true. It's very easy to cross that line, I think, of being a reactor and crossing that line into being what people might consider a lol cow. I'm not entirely sure exactly where that line is. I don't know. People have asked me this more than once, if I think Rachel's a lol cow. I don't. I think Rachel is fucked up. I don't think Rachel is handling the situation with grace or properly. But I mean, when I think lol cow, I think the girls, and I don't think Rachel's there yet, but I guess maybe I'm just offering more grace than others. So that's me. Feel free to disagree. But as far as the, the touching the poo thing, Jawbone is correct. This is something that creators within the community have done for a long time. Salty did reveal Valentine's face first. That's where I remember seeing it first. Snowflake has reached out to members of Amber's past and current life. I have always felt in a tasteful way. But the reality of the situation is, I mean, his Victims of an Empath series, which were very well done, in my opinion. But he did have to reach out to Casey and Beck and Destiny, whose name I always forget. So, I mean, they did have to be reached out to. They did have to be interviewed. And some people might consider that poo touching. So there is that. As I mentioned earlier, Jordy not only had Valentine and Valentine's wife on his channel, he's had Aunt Tammy on there. And those are just the 2 times that I can think of. I'm sure there have been others. I don't watch Karina enough. I know Karina has been approached to have people on her channel. So I will assume that there's some reason for that. You know, I mean, and those are just channels that I know of that are larger channels. So I know Alex and Zachary Michael have both been approached by side characters and whatnot. You know, it happens. I think it just depends on the creator, the reactor, and how they choose to and what they choose to do with it. I mean, you know. So I guess there is that. Like, it's not so much touching the poo, it's who you are and how deep you're willing to go into the poo. So there's that. I don't know if I want to touch the poo. And I mean, there's also certain things like, what do we consider touching the poo? Because I used to interact with Rosie before Rosie became Rosie, became what Rosie is today. I used to be in a Discord with Rosie. I used to talk with Rosie. I used to DM with Rosie. I mean, that's well known. Or at least I hope I've made that well known. So was that poo touching? I don't know. Having criticisms about other creators, having creators that don't like you, not liking creators. I have always said that, like, first off, it's okay if you disagree with other creators. That doesn't mean you don't like them. It just means you don't agree with them. And it's perfectly okay for 2 creators or 2 reactors to not agree with each other. That doesn't mean they don't like each other. It just means they don't happen to agree on that one topic. And that's perfectly fine. It's actually healthy, right? 2 creators, 2 reactors don't have to like each other. There's no rule in Gorlworld that we have to like each other, right? I would hope that we could be professional about it, or at least not dickheads about it. But we're human and everybody reacts in a different way, right? And not everybody's going to like everybody. That's just how it is. It's just not possible. It's just not possible, right? People don't like everybody. Everybody doesn't like people. So is that natural? Yeah, it's fine. Am I going to sit here and list out every creator I don't like? No, because that's crass and it's a bad look. Am I going to go into my Discord and start listing out in my Discord the people I don't like? No, I'm just not going to interact with them. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. But that's how I do it. And Jawbone clearly thought that they were in a safe space where they could have these conversations, and they weren't. This is the other problem with Discord. Discords are great for building community. They're great for bringing people together around common interests, but they are public spaces. So you need to treat them as such. If you're going to go into a Discord and you're going to say shit in a Discord, you need to understand that there's a possibility that that's going to get out. You know, have I had conversations with people in my Discord about creators that they don't like? Yes. Am I going to spill that? No, because I'm not that guy. But does it happen? Yeah. You know? And this is a possibility of that happening, you know? But, all right, I think I've rambled long enough here. So my overall opinion on the Jawbone, I didn't realize I was subscribed, but I don't feel the need to unsubscribe. So that's where I'm at with that. Maybe I'll actually watch some of the videos, since I haven't watched a video in 2 months. If I'm going to stay subscribed, I guess. All right. So there you go. Y'all asked me about Jawbone. Well, I think 2 of you have asked me about Jawbone. Many of you have asked me about Hectacana. I covered that. I think I've made my stance on Rachel pretty clear. I'm disappointed, but I mean, could I come around? Possibly, but it's going to be a minute. And I think that's where we're at. So, now that we've come to the end of this video, go ahead and put a sunflower. These aren't sunflowers, they're poppies, but maybe they're not even poppies. Anyway, put a sunflower down in the comments section to match my hat. Feel free to let me know what you guys think down below. I just ask that you stay respectful of me and other people who will be commenting, because I know there will be some disagreements, and that's perfectly fine. Do use timestamps. This is a longer video, and I will forget what I had to say in between now and when you guys comment. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. So hopefully this will be the last time I need to talk about this, unless I do a dark anthropology thing, and that will be a much different format. So we won't be talking about Hectacana and Jawbone in that one. And I can't really think of anything else that I need to say that I haven't said in the moment. Sorry about the camera skipping and all that good shit. Someday I'll figure out what the hell I've done. Someday. And that's all I've got for you guys. So don't forget, your emoji is a sunflower, and I will see everybody in the next one. Bye.
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.